Welcome to Canadian SME Small Business Podcast, the platform where we dive into the dynamic world of entrepreneurship with a special focus on inspiring journeys of women in business. I'm your host SK, and today we have the privilege of speaking with Ritu Kohli-Sethi. Ritu is the managing partner at Greater Toronto Executive Centre, GTEC, where she plays a pivotal role in providing comprehensive office and virtual services to businesses. Her journey, beginning in the late 90s while still in university, is a testament to her enterprising spirit and dedication. With an MBA from Ivey School of Business and a rich history in operations management, Ritu is not just a leader but a lifelong learner and a champion of community well-being initiatives. In today's episode, we will explore Ritu's inspiring path, her transition from the property and casualty industry to GTEC, and how she is supporting startups and small businesses. Stay tuned as we unravel the secrets of professional success and the lessons learned along the way in the ever-evolving business landscape. Good morning, Ritu. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ritu, for joining us today for the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. It's our pleasure to hosting you today.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Ritu, let's start at the very beginning, which is always a great place to start. You began your career in the late 90s while still in the university, which is quite enterprising. Can you share with us what inspired you to start early and how those initial experiences shape your career path?
Actually, it was quite accidental and intentional on my father's part, you should say. It was something that he encouraged me to do. And right after second year, it started as a summer job. I started my career at Weisblatt & Associates. I got my REBO license in Property and Casualty Insurance as a broker. And I worked under the guidance of the commercial brokers that were there. And as the summer ended, I just realized I really enjoyed having my own career, obviously earning money, and being able to make a lot of my own decisions. And based on that, I decided to continue on my third and fourth year, full-time working and then completing my undergraduate in night school. It was a tough transition. I mean, doing school three nights a week, working 9 to 5, it certainly had its challenges, but it was very rewarding for me personally. The autonomy, the independence, and just growing in a different way. And also all the items I was learning in business, all the skills I was learning in business in school, I was actually directly hands-on applying them as well. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, great to hear that. So was there any inspiration, for example, someone from your family inspired you? Who was your source of inspiration for starting so early?
My parents are actually always my mentors. We moved here when my 11th birthday was in Canada. We moved here and I've always watched my father work so hard. And with him, we moved around the world in many different countries growing up. And when we moved to Canada, it was a huge transition because he was starting his own business. And watching him work so hard, watching my mother go back to work and then go back to school to get her equivalency of education and starting her teaching career here is always a source of inspiration for me.
Having transitioned from the property and casualty industry to joining GTEC, which has not just one but 2 Greater Toronto Executive Centers, what inspired this shift and what were your initial objectives for these ventures?
In between my mat leaves, the organization that I was part of had just been acquired. There was a new brand that needed to be adopted, new strategic changes that were being made, projects that were going on left, right, and center. And because I was just coming back from my first mat leave and going to my second, my role itself was being temporarily occupied by somebody. So I actually got hands-on involved in a lot of these projects, and I loved it. I just loved executing what was a vision, what was a strategy, creating workflows, figuring out how to implement these changes, training involved, and I just really, really enjoyed it. So after my second mat leave was done, I decided this is what I wanted to do. I felt like I needed a lot of theoretical knowledge around this because business development is something that I'd always done, and I was on one path for 17 years. So I decided to go back to school, and I joined Ivey to do my MBA at that point. During that time, actually, my brother and I were sitting down and talking about GTEC, which at that time was one location, half the size that it was. And we were really talking about creative ways to grow it and scale it up. Because at that time...
What was the first location?
Our first location, our Airport North location, is also in Mississauga.
Okay.
And at that time, it was about 20 offices, couple of boardroom meeting rooms, and we still did virtual office solutions. So that was something certainly part of what we did. And the vision was to scale this up because there was a real opportunity and need. Now today, flexible workspaces, shared offices are much more readily accepted. But in 2009, when Sam had this vision, it wasn't. It was something you really had to spread the word on, educate people on what it looks like, what the benefits of it are. And I love the idea. It was a unique opportunity for me because I was in school building, learning all these different theories. And here I get to hands-on apply them. And that's where it started. And I've never looked back.
Yeah, it's like, it's always give me a pleasure, like, when sitting with women entrepreneurs. And also, like I always encourage women entrepreneurs to share their stories, because you have the family responsibilities as well as you help your brother in, like expanding this greater Toronto Executive Center.
Right.
Great to hear that.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Family responsibilities are certainly front and foremost, and so is running businesses, right? So
Yeah.
It's an interesting juggle.
Yeah. So, Ritu, the Greater Toronto Executive Centers are crucial in supporting startups and small businesses.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on the specific services and support your businesses offers to these companies?
Sure. Greater Toronto Executive Center, we are a workspace solution provider. We all know business has many forms, many shapes. Not everybody needs an office. Some people have very unique and special needs. So it's about finding that right solution to make sure your business is running smoothly. We provide fully furnished office spaces. We provide an array of meeting room rentals, including training space. We also provide for those folks who may not necessarily need a physical office space, a professional business address, business phone plans where they have the unique ability to have team members located throughout the city, the country, yet we can connect them all with an extension with a main phone line that represents your business number. And this actually gives business owners a lot of flexibility. A lot of our clients are not only startups and entrepreneurs, but we also have a lot of satellite offices that for businesses who are looking to geographically expand. This is a great way for them to test areas, determine whether this makes sense, control their costs as they continue to grow. And this is what GTEC offers. Especially for startups, we give them the ability to control their business costs and the operation costs so they can really focus and invest in their business and grow that business. Our workspaces can scale up with them.
So, folks, by the way, we are hosting this podcast from one of the Ritu's GTEC Center, which is located in Mississauga. So, I have been their customers and since last, I think 2019. So, we moved here in 2019 and it is one of the best, office space. I will ask Ritu to share the contact details where you can get connected with her to learn more about their offers and services.
Absolutely. You're more than welcome to. First, let's check our website out at www.gtexecutivecenter.com, or you can reach us at 416-309-2008 and speak to any one of our team members with confidence that we'll be able to help you.
Ritu, success often hinges on a few key elements. In your view, what are the most vital components for achieving professional success, especially in the ever-evolving business landscape?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And I'd have to say, first and foremost, working with integrity. I think that's a very important part of what you do if you do it. Integrity is a big, important part. Trust, being compassionate as a leader is important. Empathizing with what the people you work with, your business partners, whatever the situation may be. I think those are some key areas. Having a clear plan, having goals to meet, whether they're personal, whether they're professional, the activities you choose to do should align with your goals and should help you achieve success that you have a path you've set up for yourself. Another very, very important component to me is having a very strong network around you, whether it's family, friends, business confidants, mentors. This is really, really essential. I think it's almost your moral compass as you are down your strategic path and your journey to achieve different things. And, all of us have at one point or another, whether we're starting a business, running a business, it can be a lonely time. And this is where you can really rely on your network to help you with any aspect of difficulties you may be facing at that time.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you mean to say integrity is very, very important.
Yes.
Plus having a plan is very, very important. And the third most important thing you said is networking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that insightful answer. So, before we wrap up, Ritu, every success story comes with its own set of challenges and learning curves. Can you share some of the more challenging lessons that you had to learn while navigating the business world?
Navigate. Oh, sure, absolutely. I think one of the important steps for me personally, which actually was part of my business journey, has been going back to school with two toddlers. That was a very important time in my life and actually taught me a lot about myself in terms of just being resilient and coping with certain things and knowing that, you can't, trying to step up to be the best to everybody that you need to be the best for. That was an interesting time in my life for sure. Joining a family business or joining and establishing a family business, I think it's a unique opportunity. Not everyone, not all of us have. My background has always been corporate insurance. My brother's always been the entrepreneurial type, and to bring those two together certainly had its moments. And I really enjoyed that experience. I don't think I'd ever look back at that journey, and I'm so grateful for it. Because it's one thing to be siblings, but it's one thing to come together and making sure that you're establishing the right boundaries, having the right roles where you're actually capitalizing on each other's strengths, having an aligned vision. We both come at it in different ways, but making sure you have a clear plan to achieve certain things while respecting each other's views is a really important learning. That was a really important learning curve for me personally. And I think part of the business journey as well is, as I started building GTEC in terms of my vision and my view, I realized there were so many different people that had so many unique needs, whether when it came to their workspace, and being able to decipher what is an opportunity versus what is just a concession you're making versus what is something, as much as you want to do it, you've got to walk away from because it just doesn't make sense and it's not what your vision is or what your goals are. That was a big learning curve for me. I mean, I realized one of the things I realized, the situations or the areas where I made the most concessions on or deviated from our strategy and our and what we do best were the areas where you ended up getting burned first.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that's a big learning curve, and being able to stay focused is important, I think, to any business. Coming out of the pandemic, all of us, I'm sure, experienced that.
Mhm.
We all pivoted, shifted, did what we had to do to survive.
Yeah.
And as we emerged out last year from it or earlier this year, evaluating to say, did we do the right thing or are we on the right path is an important one. And knowing that, am I ready to pivot now because it makes sense for me, or should I start slowly shift back to what I did best? I think those were learning things for me personally. Those were important learning
Yeah,
lessons.
when you're talking about the pandemic, right? So I think, as you have the physical offices
Mhm.
in two centers, it might be a very big challenge that time, right?
Yeah.
When the pandemic arrived.
It was an interesting time because not only were we facing this ourselves, all of our clients who have different needs were facing the same thing. And, in a way, everybody was looking to the right person for solution or the right path for solutions. And this is somewhere where we really did step in. Our first and foremost goal was to keep our clients safe, to keep our staff safe. And most importantly, a lot of our clients were deemed essential services. So they needed their workspaces. So what can we do to step up to make sure that they have what they need to run their business during this difficult time? Some of our clients needed some concessions and some rent deferrals and things where we stepped in and helped and worked with them to the best of our capacity. I mean, we weren't privileged to a lot of the breaks until, a lot of the financial support that only came in a little bit later than it should have, to be honest with you. But we were all navigating through this time together.
Yeah. So I was also a part of the timing, like when we were transitioning, and I would say thank to your whole team that we got a lot of support during the pandemic.
Thank you.
Ritu, it was a big pleasure to host you today. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate this.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
As we conclude another enlightening episode of Canadian SME Small Business Podcast, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our guest, Ritu Kohli-Sethi, for sharing her invaluable insights and experiences with us. Ritu's journey is a beacon of inspiration for aspiring entrepreneurs, especially women who are carving their own paths in the business world. I would also like to express our gratitude to our exclusive banking partner RBC, our exclusive shipping partner UPS, and our exclusive accounting software partner Zero. I would also like to express our gratitude to our exclusive partners who make this podcast possible. A big thank you to our exclusive banking partner RBC for their unwavering support in the financial expertise. Our heartfelt appreciation goes to UPS, our exclusive shipping partner, for their reliability and service excellence. And of course, our exclusive accounting software partner Zero for their innovative solutions that help businesses thrive. Thank you to our listeners for joining us on this journey of discovery and inspiration. Remember, surround yourself with those who elevate and inspire you. Until next time, this is SK signing off.